Ricardo Tormo, the Valencia course from today. Just finished the race maybe 10 minutes ago. We've had a nice competitive grid. First four guys, and we've had very similar pace. I wonder if Pauli was playing a little bit with us, because he kept right in front of us. The Pauli is in a red car. He kept right in front of us for pretty much half of the race. And then when Cesar Martinez got close to him, he pretty much, they pretty much left us behind. So in the end, we've had 30 seconds of 29, but 30 seconds of loss. We're 30 seconds behind them. So this was definitely an interesting race. I've lost 10 seconds or even more on spinning out, but that still will be 19 seconds ahead of us. So that's plenty fast. So Pauli Honan is in red car, and Daniel Nieto is in the silver Porsche, and who is that in the Fanatic Porsche? It's Eric. So Cesar Martinez is in a BMW behind us. So it was a really entertaining race, a really tight pack, especially in the beginning of the race. Really clean too. So what you see so far is the warm-up lap. We're just warming up tires, warming up brakes. Nice fields of cars, and actually plenty of Aston Martins. I was not expecting that many of them. For me, it's a fast car, so for me, it's a no-brainer that I'm choosing Aston Martin. Yeah, everybody's got their preference. This one is mine. So this is the last corner. We're going up for the front straight. We're waiting for the green flag to wave. And when it does, we are racing. And it does now. So I got really good start, I must say. I got really good start. But I was blocked off by both cars, and I wanted to be as clean as possible, so I have slowed down a little bit. I went wide to allow the other cars to go, and tried to keep my head down. The red Porsche of Nat Mathiasen was really nice and fast, but then he had an accident, so I don't know what happened to him. But he kept me honest and fast for first part of the race. So we're in the first lap, and the first lap I was following Daniel, and he was following Pauli Honan. Me and Daniel happened to have a very similar pace in this race. Obviously, the first lap is something that you take very cautiously. There's that famous saying that you don't win races in the first corner, you lose them. Thankfully for us, we didn't lose this race, neither in first corner nor in any corner. Although it was close to be a little disappointing in the end. But hey, that's the first lap for you. I have to defend against Nat Mathiasen. He was really fast. He was faster than me. That's I can honestly say. But he never was in a position to pass me. I think I was defending relatively well. Yeah, so see, he is very close to me. Actually, his paint scheme is very beautiful. I like that metallic dark red here. He had a chance, but also it happened that on the outside I had a lot of grip. So I was in a position to defend. Typical rFactor. It always has to stutter at some point. Yeah, that's another lap. Front straight. He's right on my tail. But again, I have a good and comfortable entry. Whoa, burning the tires a little bit. I have good and comfortable entry into the first corner, which I think he didn't have, which made me comfortable in that first corner. Yeah, so this is the time of a race when the first four cars had very um, similar, equal pace. Although I was not necessarily looking forward, I was looking to my rearview mirrors. But it's interesting how far Cesar Martinez was behind us. You can see him in a BMW far, far behind. And yet then he got back to us and he passed us fairly reasonably easily. Yeah, here I'm just defending going forward, going straight. Uh, that was an excellent driving from him. I left him enough space for one car, and he took it, but he also could not make anything of this space. So here, because I was watching my back, I was more focused on my rearview mirror than looking ahead of me, which obviously slows you down. It was right up my rear end, and that Porsche looked good in the beginning of the race. I have no idea how that fared towards the end of the race because, uh, frankly, he didn't have chance to compete towards the end. Because he, I don't know, crashed out. Maybe his game crashed. Whatever happened, it was uh, unfortunate. Yeah, as you can see, Polly and Daniel are running away from us. And I'm thinking that Polly was probably saving fuel because he is way too slow for who he is. trying to make it as difficult for him as possible. So driving through straight through the middle of the racetrack. I think that at this point Daniel has lost a bit of time to Paulie Honan. Oh yeah, that was it. That was it. He was turning and then he went straight. Yeah, I don't know what happened. So at this point I have a nice gap ahead of me and behind me, so at least in theory I can go nice and easy. But then you see that the car behind me is Cesar, and he was really fast today. I didn't know that. At this point I thought, okay, that's safe margin, because I usually think that he is similar pace, has similar pace to me. And I thought if I'm not gonna make mistakes, yeah, we should be like on par. And then before I realized, he was up on my tail and didn't have much of a response to his pace. So here you go, another lap. Paulie leading. It's again very tight pack, very tight first four cars at this point. It's getting even tighter. That was a huge abuse of track limits. And at this point, I was still thinking, yes, I can gain against the guys in front of me, and I can maybe possibly make up a position. I was surprised and sort of encouraged to see that Paulie Ahonen was not running away from us. Like, not really. Like, he was just a few seconds ahead, which is good for me, from my perspective, because I'm rather slower than he is. But you see that Cesar is right up my back. Uh, I didn't make any specific mistakes in those last few laps, but I also was not driving super fast or anything. My times were in 32s, 33s at this point, which is not bad, given that my pace in practice was 34s, low 34s, because 34 zeros were pretty much my pace. And here in the race, I was faster, which was encouraging. But yeah, he just got to me like really, really quick. And in a couple of laps, he passed me. So here I'm driving in third position. Pretty much top four is set in this race at this point. There's about 10 seconds gap behind Cesar and the next car. But I'm getting increasingly anxious because I see this beautiful, beautiful black BMW right behind me, and I know that since he has come so close so quickly, I would not have pretty much anything to defend myself with against him. And also, when you have a driver right behind you, it's easy to make mistakes because you're not focused on driving. You're focused on defending. So here we go. I think this coming lap is when he is going to pass me. Um, he presented also a huge racecraft, excellent driving, side by side. I think it'll be next lap before he passes me. I was relatively quick in this section. This is where my car worked well. But the third sector, it was definitely my Achilles heel. One thing that I'm learning is that these tires are different. So the Aston Martin GT3 drives on Pirellis. These are Michelin's. I'm not thinking that the brand name actually means anything, but they feel different. Obviously, they are different compound. Um, so they do feel maybe not significantly, but decisively different. So that was also a part of learning that I was doing in this race to learn how the compound behaves, how it wears off. So actually, in the end, it was much more worn off than I was expecting it to be. Yeah, so that was him going fast in the first corner, but then he went wide, so it's a switchback. I kept inside, so I had to be tidy. He got a little bit oversteer, but he kept the speed up, and then that was done by now. Have no reason defending anymore, any stronger, because he was just literally faster than me. And as I said in race at that point, I thought I'll let him through to have him pull me to closer to the guy in front of me. And this is exactly what happened. So in a way, this was a good tactics. Knowing that he's faster, I would have him bother the guy in front of us, who was Daniel Nieto. And he did that. So I will fast forward a little bit. Because at this point, it's just me trying to do as fast laps as possible without losing too much time to Cesar. And he's doing a great job of pulling me up to Daniel Nieto. So see, I'm losing to him, but both of us were gaining to Daniel. Obviously, he gains much more significantly than I do. And at this point, I think he is already up the back of Daniel. Let's look at him for a second. Daniel makes a mistake, and I thought, oh gosh, that's done and dusted. And then he makes a mistake himself. Goes wide, dives up the inside, and that pulls me up nicely towards them. So I'm doing just minding my own business, and they begin to fight, and that makes them slower. But then Polly is still relatively close, not gaining that much time. They both go very wide in first corner. I do not go much narrower than they do. But at this point, I am much closer than I was before, which is great. And now Paulie Ahonen is also close himself, so I don't know if he made a mistake or what, but he is very close, just in front of the Porsche. So the front pack is tight once again. Didn't seem like Paulie made any mistakes really, but He was just minding his own business too. He was clearly faster, but I couldn't tell how much faster he was today. Because you see, at this point, we're very tight. First 4 cars within probably 3 seconds. And Daniel makes a mistake. Cesar is very quick behind him. There you see all 4 cars, all front 4 cars. And this is the time where Cesar pulled the trigger. But also Daniel did it very, very nicely. That's one of the cleanest passes that you will ever see. Okay, and he goes forward, pursuing Polly. Another thing I was thinking that the Polly might have been waiting for Cesar to pick up the pace. But here I was reeling in Daniel, and we're not even halfway through the race, and for the next part of the race, pretty much till the end, that was the situation until 5 minutes before the end, because that's when I spun out. So we are currently right now in third sector, where I was not faster than him. He was faster here. I was struggling in that uphill right-hander. That's where I was losing the most of the time. But I'm very close to him. This is the first sector when I was significantly faster than he was, and I was gaining a lot of time. But I just couldn't pass him. Yeah, that's the second sector, and then we're beginning the third one. That's where he was faster. I was hitting the apex, but then this right-hander here, uphill. That's where I was very. I would say I was very sketchy or tentative. Yeah, I think that's the word that they will use, tentative. Yeah, so that continued for several laps. See, there's a duet of cars ahead of us. Just Cesar and Polly. That's Polly. That's Cesar right behind him. And there's me and Daniel. Another duo of cars. I wonder, and I will look it up in a moment. Is the timing? Actually, I probably can do it even now. The timing, my lap times, how they have dropped after Daniel passed me. After after I ended up being right behind Daniel. I'm just going to load for myself the results of the race. Okay, so we have the race. My consistency was 98.7, which is relatively good. Let's go. I was about to say to see the lap times. Yes, I was doing 33s, and when I ended up behind Daniel, I was doing 34s. So that's a significant difference. I was doing 33.0, 33.1, 33.6, 32.2, 33.3, 33.3, 33.4, 33.3, 33.2, 33.5, and then 34, 34.1, 34.0, 34.6, 34.0, 34.0, 34.0, 33.8, 33.9, 33.8, 34.0, 33.5, 34.0, 33.8, 34, 43, which is in the 9 seconds where I have spun out. 34.1, 33.5, 33.5. I was capable of 33.5s, even till the end of the race. So that's my penultimate race lap was 33.5. Then the last one was slower because I made mistakes and my tires were uh, going off the cliff. But yeah, he slowed me down 1 second per lap. And how many laps did I follow him? I followed him from lap 14th to 27th, so it's 13 laps. So I lost 13 seconds. Then 10 seconds in the spin, so 23 seconds. Given that I was 29 seconds after the winner, that means that I was 7 seconds off the winning pace. Not bad, not bad. Let's fast forward a little bit. So at some point I realized that there's a lap traffic in front of us. Let's see where the two front guys are. Cesar and Pauly. There was only 1 second between them at the end of the race, so they must have had a good fight. Okay, but let's fast forward. And when you go behind someone, it's just like, even though you're not too close, it is not like you decide to go slower. It's just something that just happens. As as I followed several times his lines when he was making mistakes, the little ones. In some cases, I just did not go fast enough in some corners because I was afraid. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of things that don't work all that well when you are behind someone. And it doesn't matter how close or how you can get. If you cannot pass that person, you are not going to be faster than that person. And even uh, it might be at all times just right behind that person, right behind that car. It is always making you slower than them. They are dictating the pace. And since you're behind, you cannot go any faster. So here, again, struggling to get close to him. That breaking point at the second corner was the closest I was to him always. Here he made a little mistake. It pulled me up even closer, but again, I cannot make any moves. Cannot pass him. You see how close I can get, even now in third sector where we are in right now, and I still cannot maximize my time behind him. Again, really close, but not close enough. That I cannot go faster, because I clearly can. It's because it's an obstacle. There's an obstacle in front of me. Hard to define, but that's exactly what it is. It's a gloriously sounding obstacle. The Boxer 6-cylinder engine just sounds exceptionally good. It's in tight competition against the V8 of Corvette. Yeah, you see how close I can get. It's just like I'm sniffing his fumes, but I cannot do anything about it. So the race engineer kept telling me, yeah, push him, he's gonna make a mistake, push him, he's gonna make a mistake, push him. And I was like, yeah, I would love him to make a mistake, but I am pushing myself, and I cannot do anything about it. So again, getting close and not capitalizing. That's the point where I was the closest, given my braking was much better at this point. I was very confident with my brakes. I had to move the brake bias a little bit. In the beginning of the race, I was braking much more towards the front. Towards the end of the race, I was moving the brake bias to the rear of the car. Here, I was thinking, should I attack him or should I not? Should I attack him? Should I not? Um, Here, I realized that I was not in a position to attack. So we're racing. We're racing on. It's much tighter through this quarter. Let's see the leaders. They're getting through some traffic. And we're getting close to together, but still. And I'll pass him. Let's fast forward a little bit. Because then, as you saw, there's traffic ahead of us, and the traffic is the lapped cars, the cars that have already lost one lap to the leading cars. Drivers who either had accidents or have been in the pits or have been just slower this day. So here we are. Again, I'm reeling him in. I know it, and I cannot execute that. Here I went wide, but then the cut into the corner is very nice, and you can gain that time that you have lost by going wide. I generally lost time. He went very wide here. Here, that was sketchy because we were passing by some lapped traffic, and this lapped traffic was, well, behaving strangely. Oh, and so that's when I spun out. It's just like nothing. Like there's no reason for me spinning out. That's strange. Yep, that's strange, but that happened. Let's see that accident from the external cameras. I really don't know what happened. Uh, hard to analyze it from cameras. Like, I recovered relatively quickly. There was probably a way of recovering quicker than that. All right, that's now is the boring time. Just trying to lap as quickly as possible. That's where I got back to my 33s because I'm capable of them still at this time of the race. Okay, I'm approaching another lapped car. And that's where the guy in front of me had his high time. Yeah, he went too fast. That was three wide. That was three wide. Let's see that from the behind, from the camera from behind me. Like, shite. I'm glad that the guy to the right, he did an excellent job leaving enough space for both of us. And here I'm back to the third position that I had scored in my qualifying lap. So sort of come back to where I belong. And I hope that I would just run away from the porker. Uh, I kind of did, also did not, because in the same time when I did run away from him, that I also have eaten up my tires, and my last lap was definitely slower than it could have been. But hey, these are the last couple laps. I think there's gonna be 2 laps after this one. Yeah, this is one then the when the engineer told me this is the last one. In reality, was that was not the last one. Let's see the leaders. These are we're fighting. I'll look up how much fuel they had at the end of the race. Oh, I don't want to look it up right now. Oh, it's not showing. I think that Assetto Corsa is showing the fuel. Here I am in third position, overcooking my tires. I wonder if this is the last lap already. I think it might be. Maybe not. This is probably penultimate because he's not close enough to me. Oh, yeah, this is the last one. I thought he was closer. Yeah, because this was not the last lap. The flag was waving, but it was waving because the time was up. But we have passed it, and the leaders have not passed the checkered flag yet. So just check one thing. What's that? Because he left us. Nice place, Martins. Good job. Good job, man. Yeah, and this is the last lap of the race. I was not enjoying myself at this point because I realized that my car and my tires were pretty much done. But I just had that few corners to bring it home. And here when I saw him sending right now. I didn't realize that's what he did. But at this point I was pretty much certain. Okay. I will have it. I will have it. Yes, that's the race. And having some fun in the end is always cool. And here we go. That's the race. That's the race done and dusted. Good performance, except for one mistake, relatively good pace. We can base on that. We can build on that. Right, I hope uh, that you've enjoyed it. I have certainly enjoyed it myself, so looking forward to the next race next week, hopefully. All right, that's it for me now. Take care.